Hello, my name is Nicole Stout. I'm an athlete representative on the board of directors, and I am here because the board doesn't want to hear me. We have been talking about the newly drafted bylaws put forth by the bylaw task force headed by Jerry Seipert and Ron Tripp, who also serves as the chair of the board of directors. And the board was initially told that we were going to be discussing each of these changes in board meeting. However, in the last board meeting, when I tried to point out some very significant flaws in said changes, I was told essentially they didn't care about my agenda and that they were only interested in voting it through. So, since my opinion is not interested in being heard in the board meeting, that I'll still, say, but often get run over, I'm going to state it here for the members because the board seems to forget we're all their representatives first. Our opinions come second. So, the old system, at-large board members elected by individual members. This change in 7.6.d that is being proposed today would change that to regional directors elected by club level votes only. The board will draw and control regional boundaries. Quote, geographical region determined / reallocated by the board. Regions will stay intact for 4 years when possible. So not only are we already including loopholes, we are at a significant risk of gerrymandering because the board can redraw maps to protect power and dilute opposition. Club voting power is absurdly inconsistent. California has 96 clubs and is given 4 votes, which is 24 clubs per vote. South Dakota, as another example, has 1 club, 1 vote, which means 1 club per vote. That is a 2,400% difference in representation. You cannot tell me that that is an equal system. Alabama has 2 clubs, they also get 1 vote. Missouri has 13 clubs. Guess how many votes that? Nope, you're wrong. It's 1 somehow. And when I brought this up initially, the answer was somehow, we'll just rebalance it. But rebalancing doesn't fix the formula. It unless the board publishes and sticks to one. But even then, there's not even documentation for the first draft of X clubs equals Y votes. There's no vote caps, there's no minimums, no rounding rules. It's completely opaque, which lends itself to power being preserved behind the scenes. Rebalancing does not fix map manipulation. Redrawing votes alone doesn't fix how states are grouped. The low club states are packed into blocks with major states, and the high club states are cracked across big regions. Textbook gerrymandering, just using clubs instead of population. The board and committee will control ballot access. Only nominees selected by the nominating governance committee with board input are going to be allowed to run. So not just anybody anymore. Even with the rebalance of the voting distribution amongst the clubs, the gatekeeping still heavily controls the outcomes. And if anyone says that the IGF requires this, they're lying, because the IGF, this regional system just frankly does not comply with IGF expectations. The IGF statutes, Articles 1.2, 3.2, and 8.7 require transparent democratic elections. Office bearers being elected by general meeting / Congress, not indirect board filtered structures. There is no IGF statute that mandates regional voting, club weighted vote caps, and state-based director structures. It doesn't exist. It's not proportionate, and it can't be. It will never be proportionate with the system they're trying to propose. Even with the updates, the numbers of clubs changes yearly. Vote caps or regional limits are permanent underrepresentation for fast-growing areas. That means you can grow 20 new clubs in California and you'd still get this many new votes. 0. You can now win a national board seat with 5 clubs. In low density regions, a regional director can win with 3 to 6 supportive clubs. Meanwhile, 80 plus clubs in another region only have 4 votes. This is the opposite of a representative democracy. And one of my biggest issues is that the club voting replaces hundreds of individual member votes with just one person's decision. Before, the at-large members, whether you were an athlete, a referee, a coach, a registered USA Judo member parent, you had a say in who got elected for the at-large board position. Now, it's going to be decided by your club. So if you had 100 members in your club, you would have had, say, 100 votes. Now, let's be realistic. It's not the club voting, it's the head coach. Whoever's the guy registered to run the club is the guy that gets to vote. So in this idealistic system, somehow we're supposed to believe that every coach in the country is going to go gather up all their people and talk to them and have a whole peanut gallery and come to a consensus before the guy casts a ballot. We already don't get significant participation in our elections at all. Where I'm supposed to believe that a coach is going to do this extra work and then vote, which again is still negating all of the individual voices and perspectives of every athlete, referee, coach, and parent within that person's club. This is a complete regression of member rights. It removes the democratic power of athletes, parents, coaches, referees, everybody involved, and it completely consolidates the power into a small group of politically connected head coaches. This is a huge move backwards. We had equal representation under at-large voting, and now we're moving into a system that is head coach only voting, and essentially every athlete, every referee, every parent, every non-head coach that is a paying member that used to have a say in their at-large board of directors is about to get their vote stripped. That is the facts. They can, anybody can say I'm lying, but that's the facts. If you read, and before the bylaws can be permanently changed, they have to be posted for 30 days. It is incredibly likely that these changes will get passed today because the vast majority of the people that made these changes in the first place already sit on the board. The chairs of the committee, of the task force that made these changes is also the chair of the board. And most of the vast majority of the members that participated in the creation of these bylaw changes that gerrymander our country, that strip votes away from our members, are our board members. That's a fact. So while I understand it would be convenient for the people involved for me to be silent, I think it's imperative that our members understand what's happening, because I've always demanded transparency, and I think we need it more now than ever. I will include a link to the board meeting in the description or text box, whatever comes with this, but either participate, email your representatives, board of director representatives. We are representatives. That's our job. You guys as members are supposed to keep us accountable. You're supposed to tell us what you expect from us. This is the opposite of what you guys should want. You are losing the ability to elect the people that should represent you. That is something you guys should care about, which is why I'm here. So hopefully that was helpful. I'm not really looking forward to this particular board meeting, but I will be there. I will be stating the very case I just gave with you guys today, but to ensure the message actually gets out there, that's why I've recorded this today. So I really appreciate you listening, if you listened all the way through, and I'll see you guys later.